The old Johnson farm, nestled in the heart of Oak Ridge County, had long been forgotten by the townsfolk. Its sprawling fields, once teeming with life and laughter, had fallen into disrepair. The farmhouse, weathered and decaying, stood as a melancholic monument to a time when the land had thrived. For years, the farm had remained untouched, its secrets buried beneath overgrown weeds and crumbling barns. But all of that was about to change. Evelyn Turner, an ambitious journalist with a fascination for the obscure and the unexplained, had stumbled upon the farm's existence in a dusty, forgotten tome at the town's library. The book contained cryptic references to the Johnson farm and whispered tales of a curse that had befallen it. Driven by a desire for a story that would catapult her career, Evelyn made her way to the forgotten farm, unaware of the horrors that awaited her. Evelyn Turner's journey to the Johnson farm was filled with trepidation and excitement in equal measure. As she approached the farmstead, the dilapidated buildings came into view, casting long shadows over the land. The farmhouse, with its peeling paint and broken windows, stood eerily silent, as if holding its breath in anticipation of her arrival. The fields, once lush and green, had become a tangle of weeds and thorns, concealing the farm's secrets beneath their overgrowth. Evelyn parked her car near the entrance gate and stepped out, her camera in hand and a sense of foreboding in her heart. She knew she had ventured into the unknown, and the farm's haunting aura seemed to welcome her with open arms. Evelyn began her exploration of the Johnson farm, her footsteps echoing through the abandoned buildings. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the creaking of floorboards beneath her feet sent shivers down her spine. She ventured into the farmhouse first, her camera's flashlight piercing the darkness. Dust-covered furniture stood frozen in time, and faded photographs of the Johnson family lined the walls. Evelyn's heart ached as she wondered what had become of them. As she continued her exploration, she couldn't help but feel that the farm held memories that refused to fade with time. Whispers of the past seemed to linger in the air, waiting to be discovered. Evelyn's investigation of the farm unearthed a series of strange and unsettling discoveries. In the barn, she found peculiar symbols etched into the wooden beams, their meaning eluding her. In the cellar, she stumbled upon jars filled with pickled vegetables that appeared to have been preserved for decades. The more she delved into the farm's mysteries, the more questions arose. Who had lived here, and why had they abandoned it? What was the significance of the cryptic symbols, and why were the vegetables preserved for so long? As night descended, Evelyn decided to spend the night in the farmhouse, determined to unravel the secrets that the Johnson farm held. Little did she know that her decision would plunge her into a nightmare from which there might be no escape. As darkness settled over the Johnson farm, Evelyn prepared to spend the night in the old farmhouse. She set up her camera equipment and began recording her findings, hoping to capture evidence of the farm's eerie atmosphere. The farmhouse seemed to come alive with eerie sounds, whispers in the walls, the distant creaking of floorboards, and an occasional draft that sent shivers down Evelyn's spine. She dismissed these as tricks of the imagination, but her unease continued to grow. As the clock struck midnight, a bone-chilling presence seemed to manifest within the farmhouse. Shadows danced in the corners of the room, and a frigid breeze swept through, extinguishing the candle she had lit. The atmosphere grew heavy with an oppressive energy, and Evelyn realized she was not alone in the farmhouse. Evelyn's heart raced as she realized that she was not alone in the farmhouse. A malevolent presence, unseen but undeniably felt, loomed over her. It whispered in a language she could not understand, its voice a cold, rasping hiss. Panic gripped Evelyn as she fumbled for her camera, desperate to document the supernatural occurrences unfolding around her. But the camera malfunctioned, its screen displaying only static. The entity's presence intensified, its anger palpable. Furniture moved on its own, books flew off shelves, and the very walls seemed to close in on her. Evelyn knew that she had ventured into a realm of horror beyond her comprehension, and escape seemed impossible. As the malevolent entity continued to torment Evelyn, fragments of the farm's dark past began to unravel before her eyes. Visions of the Johnson family, once happy and full of life, now distorted by tragedy, flashed through her mind. She saw the family patriarch, Charles Johnson, driven to madness by an unknown force, scribbling cryptic symbols on the walls and muttering incomprehensible incantations. She witnessed the anguish of Sarah Johnson, the matriarch, as she desperately tried to protect her children from the encroaching darkness. Evelyn realized that the farm's curse was tied to a sinister event from its past, an event that had left an indelible mark on the land and its inhabitants. The malevolent entity sought retribution for a long-forgotten transgression, and Evelyn was trapped in its quest for vengeance. Evelyn's night in the farmhouse turned into a relentless nightmare. The malevolent entity, fueled by anger and a thirst for revenge, subjected her to a barrage of supernatural torment. Objects levitated and hurled themselves across the room. Furniture rearranged itself into grotesque configurations, and the walls seemed to bleed with dark, viscous liquid. Evelyn's very sense of reality was unraveling, and terror clung to her like a suffocating shroud. As the hours passed, Evelyn's strength waned, and her determination to document the farm's horrors was overshadowed by the desperate need to survive. She knew that if she did not find a way to appease the malevolent entity, her fate would be sealed in the darkest depths of the Johnson farm. As the malevolent entity's torment continued to escalate, Evelyn's nights in the Johnson farm became a relentless cycle of terror. Each night, she experienced haunting visions that transported her back in time to witness the farm's darkest moments. One night, she found herself standing in the dilapidated barn, surrounded by flickering candlelight. She watched as Charles Johnson, driven to madness, conducted a ritual within a pentagram drawn on the barn's floor. His eyes were wide with terror, and his words were unintelligible. Beside him, Sarah Johnson clutched her children close, tears streaming down her face as she begged for mercy. The malevolent entity loomed over them, a grotesque shadow that seemed to feed on their fear. Evelyn knew that these visions held the key to understanding the farm's curse, but deciphering their meaning would be a daunting challenge. Evelyn was determined to unravel the mystery of the Johnson farm's curse, and the haunting visions provided the clues she needed. Night after night, she witnessed the tragic events that had befallen the family. In one vision, she saw Charles Johnson's obsession with the occult, his descent into madness, and his misguided attempts to harness supernatural powers. His rituals, fueled by a dark force he could not control, had unleashed the malevolent entity that now tormented the farm. Another vision revealed the heartbreak of Sarah Johnson as she struggled to protect her children from the malevolent entity's relentless attacks. She had made desperate bargains and sacrifices, but the entity's thirst for vengeance remained unquenched. Evelyn realized that to break the curse and free the Johnson farm from its torment, she needed to understand the entity's origins and find a way to appease it. The answers lay buried in the farm's tragic history. Evelyn's quest for answers led her to the discovery of an old diary hidden in the farmhouse's attic. The diary belonged to Sarah Johnson and chronicled the family's descent into darkness. In its pages, Sarah recounted her husband's growing obsession with the occult and the sinister rituals he had conducted in a desperate bid for power. She described the malevolent entity that had plagued their lives, a vengeful force that demanded a terrible price for Charles's actions. Sarah's entries revealed her own desperation and her attempts to protect her children from the entity's wrath. She had made a chilling pact with the entity, offering it the souls of those who trespassed on the farm in exchange for sparing her family. Evelyn realized that the farm's curse was intricately tied to the malevolent entity's hunger for souls. To break the curse, she would need to confront the entity and find a way to fulfill or sever the sinister pact. Evelyn's determination to confront the malevolent entity and break the curse led her to delve deeper into the sinister pact that Sarah Johnson had made. She scoured the diary for clues, searching for any information that could help her understand the entity's demands. In a chilling entry, Sarah revealed the entity's insatiable appetite for souls and the conditions of their dreadful pact. It demanded the souls of trespassers as a form of payment, and once offered, the souls were forever bound to the malevolent force. Evelyn realized that she had unknowingly become entangled in this cursed pact the moment she had set foot on the Johnson farm. The malevolent entity now sought her soul as its payment, and she had little time to find a way to fulfill or break the sinister bargain. Evelyn knew that her only chance of survival and breaking the curse lay in confronting the malevolent entity. She had to find a way to appease it, fulfill its demands, or sever the cursed pact. Desperate, she returned to the barn where Charles Johnson had conducted his ill-fated rituals. Armed with the knowledge of the entity's insatiable hunger for souls, she began to conduct her own rituals, invoking protective forces to shield herself. The barn became a battleground of supernatural forces, with Evelyn pitted against the malevolent entity that sought to claim her soul. She chanted incantations, drew protective symbols, and summoned all her courage to face the entity head-on. As the climactic battle between light and darkness unfolded, Evelyn's life hung in the balance, and the fate of the Johnson farm teetered on the brink of resolution. The supernatural battle in the barn raged on, with Evelyn determined to confront the malevolent entity and find a way to fulfill its insidious demand. As she continued her rituals, her courage and determination were put to the ultimate test. The malevolent entity, its presence a swirling maelstrom of darkness, seemed to mock her efforts. It whispered threats and promises of eternal torment, seeking to break her resolve. But Evelyn clung to her determination, knowing that the farm's curse must be broken. In a chilling moment of revelation, the entity made its demand clear. It sought a soul, one soul, to satisfy its insatiable hunger. Evelyn had to make a devastating choice, one that would determine the farm's fate and her own. Evelyn stood at a crossroads, faced with the agonizing choice that would determine her fate and the fate of the Johnson farm. The malevolent entity demanded a soul, and she had to decide whether to offer her own or make an unthinkable sacrifice. With a heavy heart, she made her choice. She would offer her own soul as the price to break the farm's curse and end the torment that had plagued it for generations. As she prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice, the barn filled with an eerie, unnatural light. The malevolent entity loomed before her, its shadowy form shifting and writhing. Evelyn's heart raced as she braced herself for the harrowing moment that would seal her fate. With her heart heavy and resolve unwavering, Evelyn offered her soul as the price to break the curse that had plagued the Johnson farm for centuries. As she made the solemn sacrifice, a blinding light engulfed her, and a searing pain coursed through her body. The malevolent entity, its hunger satisfied, let out a haunting, triumphant wail before dissipating into the ether. The barn, once a battleground of supernatural forces, grew still, and an eerie calm settled over the Johnson farm. Evelyn knew that her sacrifice had come at a great cost, but it was a price she was willing to pay to bring an end to the curse and free the farm from its torment. As the malevolent entity vanished, a profound transformation swept over the Johnson farm. The once decaying farmhouse and barn began to show signs of life. The overgrown fields flourished with vibrant crops, and the air, once heavy with darkness, felt pure and revitalized. Evelyn, though weakened by her sacrifice, witnessed the farm's redemption with awe and relief. She knew that her actions had broken the curse's grip on the land and released the tortured souls of the Johnson family. The spirits of Charles, Sarah, and their children appeared before Evelyn, their expressions no longer tormented. They offered their gratitude for her sacrifice, their voices filled with a sense of peace they had long been denied. With the curse lifted, Evelyn's connection to the Johnson farm persisted. One final vision, different from the tormenting ones before, beckoned to her. In this vision, she saw the Johnson family reunited, their ethereal forms bathed in a warm, comforting light. They held hands, their smiles radiant, and together, they walked toward the horizon, vanishing into a brilliant sunrise. The vision left Evelyn with a sense of closure and a deep understanding of the farm's tragic history. The Johnsons were finally at peace, their souls freed from the darkness that had bound them. Evelyn's journey at the Johnson farm had come to an end, but her life was forever changed. She had witnessed and endured the horrors of the supernatural, made an unimaginable sacrifice, and ultimately brought redemption to the farm. As she left the farm behind, she knew that the mysteries of the supernatural world would continue to beckon, but she also understood the importance of leaving some secrets buried. Her experience had taught her the power of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring human spirit. With a newfound appreciation for life and the unknown, Evelyn Turner embarked on a new chapter, forever haunted by the memories of the Johnson farm and the indomitable forces that lurked in the shadows. Months passed since Evelyn's fateful encounter at the Johnson farm. While the memories of that harrowing experience haunted her, life had moved on. She had become a renowned journalist, known for her fearless pursuit of the unexplained. One day, as she reviewed her mail, a letter caught her attention. It bore no return address and was marked with an ornate seal. Inside, she found a handwritten note that sent shivers down her spine. It read, "The secrets of the supernatural world are boundless. If you seek more answers, follow the path of the enigmatic eclipse." The note contained coordinates leading to a remote location deep in the forest, a location known only to those who dabbled in the occult. It was an invitation or a warning. Evelyn couldn't be sure. Intrigued and haunted by the enigmatic message, Evelyn embarked on a journey to the remote forest, guided only by the coordinates she had received. As she ventured deeper into the wilderness, an eerie feeling of being watched gnawed at her. At the heart of the forest, she discovered an ancient stone circle, its origins lost to time. The stones formed a perfect circle, and at the center, a large flat stone bore an intricate carving of a solar eclipse. As Evelyn examined the stone, the sun began to set, casting an eerie shadow over the forest. To her astonishment, the eclipse depicted on the stone began to align with the darkening sky, as if drawing power from the celestial event itself. As Evelyn watched in awe, the eclipse on the stone circle seemed to come alive. Its shadow deepened, and an otherworldly light emanated from the carved celestial event. Before her eyes, the eclipse transformed into a swirling portal, a gateway to the unknown. The forest around her seemed to shift and warp, as if reality itself was bending to the portal's will. Intrigued and filled with a mixture of fear and curiosity, Evelyn stepped closer to the portal. She knew that once she crossed its threshold, there would be no turning back, and the mysteries of the supernatural world would beckon her once more. With a deep breath and a heart pounding with anticipation, Evelyn stepped through the portal, leaving the familiar world behind. What lay beyond was a realm of darkness and wonder, where the laws of reality were rewritten, and the supernatural reigned supreme. She found herself in a surreal landscape, a sprawling, ever-shifting maze of corridors and chambers. Strange creatures, both beautiful and grotesque, roamed the labyrinthine passages, and ethereal whispers echoed through the air. Evelyn knew that she had entered a world untouched by time or logic, a place where ancient secrets awaited discovery. Her journey into the enigmatic eclipse had opened the door to a realm of endless wonder and peril. Evelyn's exploration of the surreal realm led her to a chamber unlike any other, an immense library bathed in an eerie, ethereal light. The shelves were lined with ancient tomes bound in leather that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. As she perused the library shelves, she realized that each book contained knowledge of the supernatural, with topics ranging from forgotten rituals to obscure creatures. The library held the accumulated wisdom of those who had ventured into this realm before her. Evelyn knew that this was a place of both enlightenment and danger. The knowledge contained within these books could unlock untold power or unleash unimaginable horrors. With caution and reverence, she selected a tome and began to decipher its cryptic text. The tome Evelyn had chosen delved into the cosmic mysteries that governed the supernatural realm she had entered. It spoke of a grand cosmic conspiracy, an intricate web of interdimensional forces that shaped the fabric of reality itself. According to the text, The enigmatic eclipse served as a nexus point, a convergence of dimensions where the boundaries between worlds grew thin. Those who could harness its power could gain dominion over the supernatural and reshape reality as they saw fit. Evelyn realized that her journey into this realm was no accident. She had been drawn here to uncover the truth behind the cosmic conspiracy, to understand the forces that govern the supernatural, and to decide whether to protect or expose this hidden knowledge. As Evelyn continued to delve into the mysteries of the library, she became aware of a presence watching her, a spectral figure that materialized from the shadows. It was a guardian of the library, a spectral entity tasked with safeguarding its secrets. The guardian, its form ethereal and ever-shifting, approached Evelyn with a mixture of curiosity and caution. It communicated without words, its thoughts and intentions conveyed through a telepathic connection. Evelyn realized that the guardian held the answers to the questions that had brought her here. It possessed knowledge of the cosmic conspiracy and the supernatural forces that govern this realm. But gaining its trust and unraveling its enigmatic nature would prove to be a daunting challenge. The guardian of the library, its presence a manifestation of the supernatural realm's ancient wisdom, offered Evelyn a choice: to undergo a series of tests that would prove her worthiness to access its knowledge. Evelyn accepted the challenge, knowing that the guardian's tests would reveal not only her determination, but also her true intentions. The first test involved navigating a maze of illusions, where reality itself shifted and distorted. With unwavering resolve, Evelyn pushed forward, relying on her instincts and inner strength to overcome the labyrinth of deception. Each step brought her closer to the guardian's approval, and with each passing test, she gained a deeper understanding of the supernatural forces at play. Having successfully completed the guardian's tests, Evelyn stood before the spectral entity, her determination and respect for the realm's ancient wisdom evident. The guardian, in turn, acknowledged her sincerity and trustworthiness. With a graceful gesture, the guardian unveiled the realm's most profound secrets. It revealed the true nature of the cosmic conspiracy, a delicate balance between light and darkness, creation and destruction, order and chaos. Evelyn learned of the existence of supernatural councils that presided over the realm, their members comprising powerful beings from various dimensions. These councils sought to maintain equilibrium in the cosmic order, ensuring that neither darkness nor light gained absolute dominance. Evelyn's newfound knowledge led her to seek out the cosmic guardians, the powerful beings who oversaw the balance of the supernatural realm. These entities, each a custodian of immense power, held the key to understanding the cosmic conspiracy. With guidance from the guardian of the library, Evelyn embarked on a journey to meet the cosmic guardians. Each encounter would test her resolve, as the guardians were enigmatic and ancient beings, their motives and intentions shrouded in mystery. The first guardian she sought was Veritas, the keeper of truth, who resided in a realm of perpetual twilight. There, Evelyn would face the challenge of discerning truth from illusion, a trial that would determine her readiness to uncover the deeper mysteries of the cosmic conspiracy. Evelyn's journey to meet Veritas, the keeper of truth, led her to a realm bathed in perpetual twilight. The guardian's domain was a place where illusions and reality intertwined, where the boundaries between truth and falsehood were blurred. As Evelyn ventured deeper into this surreal realm, she encountered challenges that tested her perception and discernment. She faced apparitions that mirrored her deepest fears and desires, and she had to rely on her inner strength to distinguish fact from fiction. Veritas observed Evelyn's every move, gauging her ability to navigate the treacherous landscape of truth and illusion. Only those who possessed unwavering determination and an unshakable commitment to unraveling the mysteries of the cosmic conspiracy could earn the Guardian's trust. After enduring a series of trials and tribulations within the realm of Veritas, Evelyn emerged victorious, having proven her ability to discern truth from illusion. The Guardian, impressed by her unwavering determination, revealed the first layer of the cosmic conspiracy, Veritas explained that the cosmic guardians were charged with maintaining the equilibrium between light and darkness, order and chaos, across multiple dimensions. Their duty was to ensure that no single force gained unchecked power, for the consequences of such an imbalance could be catastrophic. Evelyn learned that the enigmatic eclipse acted as a nexus point, allowing those who harnessed its power to influence the balance of the supernatural realm. It was a source of both great potential and great peril, a cosmic anomaly that held the key to shaping the fate of countless worlds. Armed with the knowledge imparted by Veritas, Evelyn continued her quest to seek out the cosmic guardians. Her next destination was the realm of Umbra, where the Council of Shadows presided. This council consisted of enigmatic beings who maintained the delicate balance between light and darkness. The realm of Umbra was a place of perpetual twilight, where shadows danced and secrets thrived. Evelyn's journey would take her deep into the heart of this mysterious realm, where she would encounter the shadowy council and confront challenges that tested her understanding of the cosmic conspiracy. With each step, she drew closer to uncovering the deeper layers of the supernatural realm's enigmatic truth. Evelyn's arrival in the realm of Umbra marked the beginning of her encounter with the Council of Shadows. The council members were ancient beings, their forms shrouded in darkness, and their motives veiled in secrecy. To gain an audience with the council, Evelyn had to prove her worthiness by deciphering a series of cryptic riddles and puzzles. Each challenge led her deeper into the shadowy realm, where the very essence of reality seemed to shift and transform. The council members observed Evelyn's progress, their expressions inscrutable. They sought to test her resolve, for they held the secrets of the cosmic conspiracy that could alter the fate of the supernatural realm and beyond. Evelyn's journey through the realm of Umbra and her encounters with the Council of Shadows had finally led her to the heart of their enigmatic domain. In a chamber shrouded in perpetual twilight, the council members revealed the deeper truths of the cosmic conspiracy. The council explained that the balance between light and darkness, order and chaos, was not a static equilibrium, but a perpetual struggle. Forces beyond human comprehension sought to tip the scales in their favor, and the enigmatic eclipse was the key to their machinations. Evelyn learned that the cosmic guardians, including Veritas and the Council of Shadows, were tasked with safeguarding the enigmatic eclipse and preventing its power from falling into the wrong hands. Those who sought to exploit the eclipse's power for their own gain threatened the very fabric of reality. Armed with newfound knowledge and the guidance of the cosmic guardians, Evelyn stood at a crossroads. She had uncovered the intricate web of the cosmic conspiracy, the delicate balance that governed the supernatural realm, and the cosmic forces that sought to shape the fate of countless worlds. The enigmatic eclipse, with its power to influence the balance between light and darkness, held the key to the realm's destiny. Evelyn had a choice to make, a choice that would determine whether she would protect the balance or expose the cosmic conspiracy to the world. Her journey into the supernatural realm had tested her resolve, challenged her understanding of reality, and unveiled the deepest mysteries of the cosmos. Now, the fate of the supernatural realm and the secrets of the enigmatic eclipse rested in her hands. The Silvervale supermarket, nestled at the edge of the quiet suburban town, had always been a beacon of convenience for the townsfolk. By day, it bustled with shoppers, the shelves lined with neatly arranged groceries, and the cash registers chiming with transactions. But as the sun dipped below the horizon and the world plunged into darkness, the supermarket took on an entirely different persona. It was during the graveyard shift, under the dim, flickering fluorescent lights, that its true nature revealed itself. Vincent Rourke, a middle-aged security guard with a quiet demeanor, had patrolled the Silvervale supermarket for years. His job was straightforward: keep an eye on the CCTV cameras, deter potential thieves, and ensure the premises remained secure. However, Vincent had always been acutely aware of something strange about the supermarket during the late hours. Whispers of unusual occurrences had circulated among the previous security guards, but they were dismissed as mere superstitions. One night, while reviewing the CCTV footage in his small office tucked away in a corner of the supermarket, Vincent spotted something inexplicable. A shadowy figure moved across one of the monitors, appearing and disappearing in the blink of an eye. Puzzled and intrigued, Vincent rewound the footage and watched it again, this time paying closer attention. The figure seemed to materialize from thin air, its form vague and insubstantial. It moved with an eerie, almost ethereal grace, as if it didn't belong in the realm of the living. Doubt gnawed at Vincent's mind, but curiosity drove him forward. He couldn't ignore the sense of unease that had settled in the pit of his stomach. The supermarket held a secret, one that beckoned him to unravel its mysteries. In the days that followed, Vincent couldn't shake the unsettling image of the shadowy figure from the CCTV footage. He began to notice subtle, eerie occurrences during his nightly patrols through the supermarket's dimly lit aisles. Grocery carts moved on their own, rolling silently down the aisles as if guided by unseen hands. Shelves were occasionally found in disarray, with products scattered across the floor despite no sign of intrusion. And Vincent swore he heard faint, ghostly laughter echoing through the deserted supermarket late at night. Vincent confided in his colleague Lisa, who had worked alongside him for years. She was initially skeptical, but agreed to review the CCTV footage with him. Together, they watched as the shadowy figure moved in and out of frame, its presence undeniable. Fear etched itself onto Lisa's face as she turned to Vincent and whispered, "We're not alone in here, are we?" Determined to uncover the truth, Vincent and Lisa decided to conduct a vigil during one of their night shifts. They armed themselves with flashlights, walkie-talkies, and a sense of apprehension that hung heavy in the air. As the clock struck midnight, the supermarket's fluorescent lights flickered ominously. Vincent and Lisa felt a chill run down their spines as they began to patrol the store's aisles. They watched, hearts pounding, as grocery carts creaked into motion and spectral whispers echoed around them. Suddenly, they glimpsed it, a shadowy silhouette standing at the end of an aisle. Vincent shone his flashlight toward the figure, but it evaporated into nothingness, leaving only the chilling memory of its presence. The ghostly encounters in the supermarket continued to escalate. Shelves toppled over, cans flew through the air, and the once orderly store devolved into chaos each night. The town's residents whispered rumors of a malevolent spirit haunting the supermarket, keeping them away after dark. Vincent and Lisa delved into the supermarket's history, uncovering a grim tale from the past. Decades ago, the land on which the store stood had been home to a cemetery, its graves disturbed to make way for progress. Some believe the spirit of a restless soul sought vengeance for its desecrated resting place. Desperate for answers, Vincent and Lisa sought the help of a local paranormal investigator named Professor Evelyn Blackwood. With her expertise, they aimed to communicate with the entity and uncover its motives. Professor Blackwood arrived at the Silverville supermarket with a collection of mysterious artifacts and an air of confidence that unnerved Vincent and Lisa. They gathered in the supermarket's storage room, where the paranormal investigator prepared for a seance. As the seance began, the room grew colder and candles flickered ominously. Professor Blackwood chanted incantations, attempting to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. Suddenly, the supermarket was plunged into darkness, and a ghostly presence made itself known. In the pitch-black room, the ghostly presence spoke through Professor Blackwood, its voice filled with anger and sorrow. It revealed itself as Samuel Holt, a groundskeeper from the former cemetery. He had been disturbed from his eternal rest when the supermarket was built, and his anger had consumed him. Samuel's vengeful spirit blamed the supermarket and all who set foot in it for desecrating the graves and displacing the souls of the deceased. He sought to torment those who dared enter, hoping to avenge the sanctity of the land he once tended. Vincent and Lisa, hearts heavy with guilt, realized they were responsible for bringing Samuel's wrath upon themselves. They now faced an impossible task, finding a way to appease the vengeful spirit and lay his troubled soul to rest. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood knew that appeasing Samuel Holt's vengeful spirit was their only chance to end the supernatural torment in the supermarket. They embarked on a quest to uncover the truth about the desecrated graves and find a way to redeem themselves. Their research led them to the town's archives, where they unearthed documents detailing the construction of the supermarket. They discovered that the graves had been moved to a nearby cemetery, or so it was believed. Determined to make amends, the trio resolved to find Samuel's original resting place and restore his dignity in death. Under the cover of night, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood set out to find the long-forgotten cemetery where Samuel Holt had been laid to rest. Armed with shovels and a sense of unease, they ventured into the dense woods rumored to hide the lost graveyard. After hours of searching, they stumbled upon a neglected, overgrown cemetery concealed among the trees. Tombstones were toppled and covered in vines, a solemn testament to years of neglect. Their hearts heavy with trepidation, they began to dig beneath a gnarled oak tree where Samuel's grave should have been. It didn't take long for their shovels to strike wood, and as they unearthed the coffin, a bone-chilling realization struck them. The grave was empty. The empty grave only deepened the mystery surrounding Samuel Holt's restless spirit. It seemed that not only had his grave been disturbed, but also his remains had vanished, leaving no trace. In their quest for redemption, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood began to unravel the twisted legacy of those who had built the supermarket. They uncovered a web of deceit, blackmail, and sinister motives that had driven the desecration of the cemetery and the disappearance of Samuel's remains. As they delved deeper into the town's dark history, they realized that confronting Samuel's wrath was just the beginning of their journey to uncover the truth and bring peace to the tormented spirits of Silvervale. In their pursuit of answers, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood stumbled upon an old journal hidden within the archives of the town's historical society. The journal had belonged to a man named Elias Worthington, who had been a prominent figure in the town during the time of the cemetery's desecration. Elias Worthington's journal detailed a sinister pact he had made with a group known as the Ebon Circle, promising them riches and power in exchange for the desecration of the cemetery and the theft of Samuel Holt's remains. With newfound determination, the trio vowed to uncover the surviving members of the Ebon Circle, hoping they held the key to appeasing Samuel Holt's spirit and breaking the curse that gripped the supermarket. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood's relentless investigation led them to a hidden underground network known as the Ebon Circle. It was a secret society that had existed for generations, wielding power and influence over the town. They discovered that the surviving members of the Ebon Circle had passed down their sinister traditions, keeping the stolen remains of Samuel Holt as part of a dark ritual that granted them immortality and unimaginable wealth. With this revelation, the trio knew they had to confront the Ebon Circle and force them to return Samuel's remains, breaking the curse that bound his vengeful spirit to the supermarket. Armed with knowledge and conviction, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood devised a plan to infiltrate the Ebon Circle's clandestine meetings. They would attend the next gathering, posing as potential recruits eager to partake in the circle's forbidden secrets. Disguised in dark robes and with hearts pounding, they entered the secret chamber beneath the town's oldest church. There, they found themselves among the town's most influential and corrupt individuals, all gathered to conduct the dark ritual that had sustained their wealth and immortality. As the ritual commenced, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood fought to maintain their cover while seeking an opportunity to seize Samuel Holt's remains and put an end to the malevolent curse. Amidst the eerie chants and the flickering candlelight, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood observed the Ebon Circle members enact their ritual. The stolen remains of Samuel Holt were placed at the center of an intricate pentagram, and dark energies began to surge. The trio watched in horror as Samuel's vengeful spirit materialized, his rage and despair echoing through the chamber. It was a moment of reckoning, a showdown between the malevolent entity and those who had wronged him. But the Ebon Circle members were no ordinary mortals. Their power was immense, and they fought to maintain control over Samuel's spirit. A desperate struggle ensued, with Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood racing against time to seize the remains and set Samuel free. As the confrontation escalated, it became clear that the Ebon Circle members would stop at nothing to protect their immortality and wealth. In a harrowing turn of events, one of the Circle's most sinister members prepared to make a horrifying sacrifice to bind Samuel's spirit even tighter to their dark agenda. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood were faced with an impossible decision: stand by and watch as the sacrifice was carried out, or intervene at the risk of their own lives. In a moment of selflessness and courage, one of them made a heart-wrenching choice that would alter the course of their mission and bring them closer to breaking the curse. The sacrifice was thwarted, but at a great cost. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood had fractured the alliance of the Ebon Circle, forcing them to flee the scene in disarray. Samuel Holt's spirit, however, remained bound by the remnants of the interrupted ritual, his torment intensifying. Despite the setback, the trio managed to secure the stolen remains and retreat from the church. They now faced the daunting task of finding a way to release Samuel's spirit and cleanse the supermarket of its malevolent curse once and for all. But with the Ebon Circle still at large and Samuel Holt's fury unabated, they knew that their fight against the supernatural forces that plagued Silvervale was far from over. With Samuel Holt's stolen remains in their possession, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood knew they had a critical piece of the puzzle to break the curse that plagued the Silvervale supermarket. However, they lacked the knowledge and resources to perform the necessary rituals to release Samuel's tormented spirit. Desperate, and with time running out, they sought the guidance of a reclusive expert in the occult named Sebastian Thorne. He was known to possess ancient texts and esoteric knowledge that could aid in their quest for redemption. They journeyed deep into the wilderness to find Thorne's remote cabin, a place shrouded in its own air of foreboding. As they knocked on the door, they could only hope that Thorne would be willing to share his secrets. Sebastian Thorne, an enigmatic figure with eyes that seemed to see into the depths of one's soul, greeted Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood with an eerie calmness. He listened intently as they recounted their harrowing experiences with Samuel Holt's vengeful spirit and the sinister machinations of the Ebon Circle. Thorne agreed to help them, but at a price. He demanded their unwavering commitment to a dangerous and intricate ritual, one that involved opening a doorway to the spirit realm, confronting Samuel's wrath, and convincing him to move on. With no other choice, the trio reluctantly agreed to Thorne's conditions, embarking on a journey that would take them deeper into the supernatural than they had ever dared to venture. Under the guidance of Sebastian Thorne, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood prepared for the perilous ritual that would open a doorway to the spirit realm. They gathered the necessary materials, inscribed cryptic symbols, and practiced incantations that would bridge the gap between the living and the dead. As the midnight hour approached, they assembled in the dimly lit chamber beneath Thorne's cabin. Candles flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls, and a profound sense of unease settled over them. With Thorne leading the way, they began the ritual, chanting words that resonated with ancient power. The room grew colder, and the air became charged with an otherworldly energy as the veil between the realms thinned. As the ritual reached its climax, a spectral vortex materialized before them, a swirling maelstrom of ethereal energy. From within the vortex emerged Samuel Holt's vengeful spirit, his eyes burning with anger and sorrow. The room trembled as Samuel's presence filled every corner. He was a tormented soul, consumed by his desire for vengeance and unable to find peace. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood knew that their words and actions in the next moments would determine Samuel's fate and their own. They begged Samuel for forgiveness, recounting the depths of their remorse for their role in the desecration of his resting place. Tears fell, and hearts were laid bare as they implored him to let go of his rage and find solace. In the presence of Samuel's wrath, The trio's pleas seemed to hang in the balance between redemption and eternal damnation. Samuel's ghostly form wavered, his anger warring with the pain of his tortured existence. With a voice that echoed through the chamber, he spoke of his anguish, the centuries of torment he had endured, and the longing for the peace of the afterlife. As his spectral figure flickered, it became clear that he was teetering on the brink of a decision. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood held their breath, their hopes pinned on Samuel's ultimate choice, a choice that would either grant them redemption and release the supermarket from its curse, or condemn them to an eternity of suffering. The night was thick with fog when Alex and Emma moved into their new home, a quaint, old Victorian mansion with a dark history. As they settled in, they'd brushed off the unsettling stories their neighbors whispered about the house being haunted. In a climactic moment, Samuel Holt's spectral figure quivered with conflicting emotions. His eyes, once burning with anger, now softened with a mixture of sorrow and acceptance. The words of forgiveness from Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood had pierced through the walls of his torment. With a heavy sigh, Samuel spoke, his voice a spectral whisper that echoed in the chamber. "I release my anger and grant you the redemption you seek. I forgive you for the wrongs committed against me." As he uttered these words, a blinding light enveloped his form, and he began to dissipate into the ether. It was a moment of profound catharsis, as Samuel's spirit found the peace he had longed for, leaving behind a sense of closure that hung in the air. With Samuel Holt's forgiveness, the curse that had plagued the Silvervale supermarket began to lift. The supernatural occurrences ceased, and the store's long-forgotten peace was gradually restored. The townsfolk, unaware of the horrors that had unfolded beneath their feet, returned to shopping at the supermarket during all hours without fear. The stories of hauntings and malevolent spirits faded into distant memory, replaced by the mundane routine of everyday life. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood had succeeded in their quest for redemption, but the experience had left its mark on them. They had delved into the depths of the supernatural and faced horrors beyond imagination, forever changed by their encounter with the spectral world. As the days turned into weeks, the trio found themselves haunted by the events of their supernatural ordeal. They were plagued by unsettling dreams and the constant feeling that they were being watched. It became clear that their connection to the spirit world had not been severed entirely. They knew that they had more to uncover, secrets that still lay buried, and a final piece of the puzzle that would grant them true closure. They returned to the archives, delving deeper into the town's history, searching for answers that had eluded them. Their research revealed a chilling truth. While Samuel Holt's spirit had found peace, there remained a malevolent remnant of the Ebon Circle, the one who had escaped their confrontation during the ritual. This sinister figure, now aware of their pursuit, sought to unleash supernatural forces more terrifying than anything they had encountered before. With renewed determination, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood realized that their journey was far from over. They would confront this final, malevolent force, uncover the Ebon Circle's darkest secrets, and bring an end to the lingering supernatural threat that still loomed over Silvervale. The malevolent remnant of the Ebon Circle, shrouded in darkness and wielding sinister powers, proved to be a formidable adversary. It taunted and tormented the trio, unleashing a barrage of supernatural horrors that pushed their limits. Their confrontation reached its climax in a cataclysmic showdown, a battle between the forces of light and darkness that would determine the fate of Silvervale. Spells and incantations collided, and the very fabric of reality seemed to warp and fracture as the final, devastating clash ensued. In the throes of battle, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood were pushed to their limits, their strength waning as the malevolent remnant's power grew stronger. With each passing moment, it became clear that they would need to make an ultimate sacrifice to vanquish the darkness once and for all. In an act of unwavering bravery, one of them made a heart-wrenching decision that would change the course of their mission. It was a choice that demanded great sacrifice, but it was the only way to break the malevolent remnant's hold on the town. The sacrifice while heartbreaking, proved to be the catalyst that shattered the malevolent remnant's power. With a blinding surge of light and a deafening roar, the malevolent force was vanquished, its darkness dissipated into the ether. The townsfolk of Silvervale, unaware of the epic battle that had transpired, awoke to find the curse that had loomed over their lives had finally lifted. The supernatural horrors were no more, and the town was bathed in a newfound peace. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood, despite the heavy toll their journey had taken on them, knew they had succeeded in their quest. The town was free from the malevolent forces that had haunted it for so long. Though Silvervale had been freed from the malevolent forces that had haunted it for generations, the trio of Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood bore the weight of their journey's toll. Their lives had been forever altered by their encounters with the supernatural, and the scars of their experiences ran deep. In the weeks that followed, they found solace in each other's company, seeking to rebuild their lives and restore a semblance of normalcy. Yet it was impossible to forget the horrors they had faced, the sacrifices they had made, and the mysteries that still lingered in the shadows. As they attempted to return to their respective lives, it became clear that their supernatural journey was not truly over. Strange occurrences continued to follow them, as if the remnants of the malevolent force were determined to remind them of their unfinished business. Whispers in the dark, unexplained phenomena, and a constant feeling of being watched plagued their everyday existence. It was as though the supernatural world refused to release its grip on their lives. The trio's worst fears were realized when the remnants of the Ebon Circle, believed to have been defeated, began to resurface. It appeared that their malevolent influence had not been completely eradicated, and their thirst for power and revenge was stronger than ever. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood knew that they could not ignore this resurgence. The sinister figures behind the Ebon Circle sought to reclaim their lost power and finish what they had started, putting the entire town of Silvervale at risk once more. With the Ebon Circle's return, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood were faced with an impossible choice: accept the renewed threat or take drastic action to confront the malevolent organization once and for all. They devised a desperate plan to infiltrate the Ebon Circle's hidden sanctum, uncover their darkest secrets, and prevent them from unleashing supernatural horrors upon the town. It would be a perilous mission, one that would test their resolve and push them to the brink of their abilities. The trio's perilous journey led them deep into the heart of the town's most ancient and sinister secrets. They uncovered the location of the Ebon Circle's hidden sanctum, a long-forgotten catacomb beneath the town's oldest cemetery. As they ventured into the underground labyrinth, they felt the weight of centuries of darkness bearing down on them. The air was thick with foreboding, and the walls seemed to close in, echoing with the whispers of the past. In the depths of the hidden sanctum, Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood discovered the Ebon Circle's true purpose: an insidious plot to harness the darkest forces of the supernatural and unleash them upon the world. They uncovered the chilling legacy of the Ebon Circle, a sinister tradition that had been passed down through generations. The malevolent organization was willing to sacrifice everything, even the town itself, to attain ultimate power and immortality. As Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood confronted the Ebon Circle within the dark recesses of the hidden sanctum, a final, cataclysmic showdown ensued. Spells and incantations collided, and the very fabric of reality teetered on the brink of destruction. In a climactic battle between good and evil, the trio fought to thwart the Ebon Circle's sinister plot and prevent the release of unspeakable horrors upon Silvervale. It was a battle that would test their strength, resilience, and unwavering determination. The battle raged on, each side desperate to achieve their goals. In the end, it was the trio's indomitable spirit, their resolve, and their willingness to sacrifice everything for the sake of their town that tipped the scales in their favor. The malevolent forces of the Ebon Circle were defeated once and for all, their dark plot thwarted, and their sinister legacy brought to an end. The town of Silvervale was finally free from the shadow of the supernatural. Vincent, Lisa, and Professor Blackwood emerged from the depths of the hidden sanctum, forever changed by their experiences. They had faced the most terrifying of horrors, conquered the supernatural, and ensured the safety of their town. As they gazed at the peaceful town of Silvervale, they knew that their journey had come to an end. The supernatural had tested their limits, but it had also forged their bonds of friendship and their strength of character. Though they bore the scars of their encounters, they had emerged victorious. And as the trio looked to the horizon, they knew that the mysteries of the supernatural world would always remain, waiting for those brave enough to seek them out.